Okay, this video is going to be about my plans for this channel, and it's also going to discuss some personal aspects of my life, and it's also going to give you some insight into exactly who I am. And I'm going to try to be very casual about it. I'm usually very controlled, very tight, and very I think I'm very conscious of my words, so I'll try not to do that. Now, the first thing on the whiteboard that I made of all of my plans, the first thing is to make a game. The thing is, I've struggled to want to draw. It takes a lot of discipline to draw, and I'm not very disciplined. I have a big weakness for procrastination, and I need to draw art, but I'm very creative, so I should be able to make a game. I'll probably show off a little bit of art to motivate myself to be able to get myself doing things. You'll be pleasantly surprised whenever I do show off art. The second thing on the list that I can see is to explain a mock-up scenario for a short film that I want to show you how good of a director I am, because I am good at doing movies. I did want to do a lot of big movies like Batgirl, and I wanted to do. Well, I had an idea for the second season of Good Omens. Plus, I also looked at one of the Vin Diesel movies, and I had a pretty good idea of prequel to that movie that would have been a lot better. I think there were some interesting ideas in one of the movies that he did. Plus, I've had a number of ideas for The Incredibles, but they ruined that show. In the third film, it's going to be hard to make a fourth film that's really good. It's probably going to be entertaining for the kids, but it's going to be lukewarm reception. Plus, I also had a superhero film, another superhero film that I just made up a superhero. That's also pretty good. That's pretty much it for cinema. I'm going to go ahead and just come up with different ideas and all that, but I'll go ahead and go through a mock-ups short film and show you just how organized I am and how good of a director / producer I am. Alright? Now, the next thing that says is my hypothetical subatomics. This is just an idea that I had for hypothetical subatomics. As you'll notice, it is probably the closest anybody has ever been to explaining everyday matter. There are some assumptions that I made, right? Plus there are some rules that aren't in there yet because I want to hold the last bit of it hostage until YouTube approves my account and basically verifies that I am who I am, so I can start earning money. Alright, so watch that if you want, but it's more hypothetical, and there may be some error, but there's very few errors in my assumptions, right? So yeah, you can look at it and enjoy it if you want. Plus, I will be doing a series that may be a bit controversial, but I did figure out a way to make a perfect government. Now, to make a perfect government, you have to be able to understand that there has to be certain ideal circumstances that are currently not possible. That's part of the reasons why I'm tackling subatomics, is because if we can get nature fully understood, we can implement the necessary steps to be able to build an ideal government, right? Unfortunately, that means that people will become sort of the support for the government and not the government itself. I think having people in any form of um, leadership is a very bad idea. I'll explain what I mean at the end of this video whenever I explain some of my shortcomings. Okay? Now, I also have hostage, right? I'll ask a price of 10 million for it. Essentially, I did figure out a way to possibly improve the CPU performance by up to 65% if one of the major chip companies like AMD or Intel wants to contact me. They can deposit 10 million and I will go ahead and improve their CPU performance by at least 10%. If not 65%, I have to get with their engineers to be able to actually discuss whether or not they idea that I have, whether or not it's implemented in any way. Plus, I have to get an idea of exactly what kind of mechanics, what kind of electrical behaviors I can manipulate. That way I can figure out exactly how much of an improvement it is, because it may end up increasing the timing a little bit if it happens that I need an extra chip or an extra architectural unit. Anyways, it's up for grabs for 10 million. And let's see. Okay, I have some pretty interesting shorts that I can do. They're kind of like comedy shorts. They're just for fun. But I do have some pretty interesting shorts, so if I get into drawing things, I'll be able to show you those, and you'll have a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it, and you'll be able to, show it to your friends and just have a laugh or just watch it for amusement. I usually just watch it for amusement. Comedy to me is just amusing. It's not really funny. I do giggle and laugh a little bit whenever someone for embarrassing humor, but only certain forms of humor really make me laugh or have fun. Anyways, let's see. The thing is, for Smash Ultimate, I practice it every day, pretty much every day, religiously. I'm probably, if I were to get into tournaments and stuff, I was hoping to get into tournaments, but unfortunately the internet at my location is very bad, and it wouldn't support online play in a game that really is not very good online, right? The thing is, I'm probably top 20 already, if with a little bit of experience in tournaments. So yeah, I'm really good at Smash Ultimate, and I continue to practice. I think Slingshot, how can I put it? I use Slingshot, like hold shot, the flick shot and all of that. I use that on the regular now. And it only took me a couple days to get it going. So yeah, I'm really good. And yeah, I do have a number of opinions on people's performance. I watched some Smash tournaments that kind of disappointed me on some regards, but Light has been doing quite well, so yeah, that's really good. Plus I've beaten top players online, but that doesn't really count. Also, I've been doing practicing my Super Metroid techs in order to try and be able to do that, because it's very interesting to me playing around with the Super Metroid A Link to the Past randomizer, because that's pretty fun. I think I want to do something eventually, maybe do like a game that's similar to that, just to see what I can come up with, because it's a very interesting idea to have a platformer mixed with an isometric 2D game, right? Anyways, so I've been practicing a lot of that tech. Now, something to explain about me. I'm partially deaf. my left ear doesn't work very well. I tend to lose focus constantly. So every time I look around or look at things, I can't actually register what's going on until I spend at least a few minutes looking at something. That's very bad for, especially whenever I look up steps. That's probably why I'm scared of going up steps, is because of the fact that I can't, half the time I can't tell where I'm going or where I'm putting my foot, and I have tripped on steps, so I'm very cautious of that. Plus, that's the reason why I don't really like driving around, and why I would really want a chauffeur, because I'm not very good at driving, and I'm really terrified of driving, because if I can't register what's going on really quickly, I may end up crashing into things. Okay? Plus, I tend to procrastinate, and it's something that I've always said about people, is the reason why they're bad at governing themselves and governing others is because the biggest thing to understand about people, and this is to do with hypothetical subatomics, is more than likely everyone, every creature that is made from substance that is basically part of our universe, part of our existence, is a selfish bigot. What that means is the fact that they do everything for themselves and they do not change very much. Bigotry is believing something so much that everything else is completely false or not a good thing. To be a good governor, to govern well, you have to be disciplining. Well, you have to be scrupulous. It's not about discipline. It's about being scrupulous. Without developing your scruples, you are, in essence, a danger to everyone who happens to be in the way of your mistakes. Your mistakes cause people to suffer. Your mistakes kill people. So regardless of whether or not you're in the government, regardless of whether or not you're an everyday citizen, when you're making choices, your choices affect people. And sometimes that effect is not for the better. That is the reason why I do not like the idea of people in general, regardless of whether or not some alien race that's more advanced comes down. People in general should not be governing other people. It is a very bad idea. I'm a prime example. I procrastinated this video for days, not because I had to. I procrastinated making a game for years, not because I had to, but because I'm a selfish bigot and I'd rather eat a quart of ice cream rather than bother with whatever it is, whatever agenda there is for the day. The thing was, back whenever I was in 8th grade, I used to hurt people just because of the fact that I was so wild and crazy back then, that my mind was, I was more of an animal. And that's the way animals behave. They hurt people. I learned to not like hurting people. Now, do I feel sorry for the people that I hurt? No, because they promoted it, but I shouldn't have, and that was wrong. And it's something that I've taught myself, is that suffering and death are not a good thing, and people should actively develop a way to prevent suffering and death. It's something that I always try my best to do. Also, for whenever I speak, you have to understand the left side of my brain doesn't work very well. That's probably why I was having so many developmental issues. The thing was, I could hardly write. My speaking ability was poor. My ability to communicate my ideas, my sort of my way of my understanding of what I'm looking at was poor, and I really suffered. I really made a lot of mistakes because of that. But that's the reason why you can't let creatures of any kind govern other creatures, because it's not a good thing. Also, I look at the capture, by the way, so if I'm looking down, I'm just looking at the capture. Yeah, I'm very paranoid. So yeah, if I don't post a video every week, just keep in mind that I'm probably just being a procrastinator as usual. And do keep in mind that I am keeping hostage other videos until I'm verified. If Elon Musk wants to give me 10 million, I'll go ahead and, well, 10 million with taxes paid and all of that, and a nice deposit for me to use and all of that. I'll go ahead and give him a 3 hour explanation of how a world is made. By the way, I did figure out how worlds are made. I did figure out exactly how our sun came to be more than likely. And I do have an idea of possibly what, um, well, a lot of things are in the universe. That's how close I am to actually getting an understanding of the universe. And this is not hubris. As I said, develop your scruples. Be scrupulous. At first, this idea that I had was very, very bad. It did not work very well. But it was, I by being very good at noticing when I was on the right track, I would constantly keep note of every time I was on track. And it evolved into hypothetical subatomics. That is the result of me overcoming my selfish behavior, me overcoming my bigotry. The universe literally opened up. That is the whole point of developing your scruples. You do not want to have someone who has just their imagination, because the imagination is just so that you can form a pattern inside your mind that allows you to see, to develop a, how can I put it, to create something new. That new thing then has to be examined by your logic. That's the reason why you get so many conspiracies. That's the reason why you get so many crazy ideas, is because people aren't going based off of trying to challenge each of their senses, trying to challenge each of their experiences, because for each experience you get a new perception, a new pattern is created, and that pattern must be evaluated, judged, and challenged. Alright? And that's how you develop good patterns. And that's how I got hypothetical subatomics despite my shortcomings. I tend to overplay games. I tend to watch way too much YouTube. And yeah, just remember, I am quite certain, and even with the information that I've given you, somebody can figure out exactly what the universe is. And if I happen to be completely wrong, I will change it. That is the whole point of being scrupulous. That's the reason why I'm qualified to develop a perfect government. Scruples. I understand that I am not by any shape perfect, but I am capable of seeing that, of erasing everything, and starting again over and over and over again until I get just right. And only then will I assume that I am right. Even though I will keep in mind that even if I think I'm right, there could be something wrong anyways. Alright? So this will be the first part of my plans. I'll probably update you sometime later. I am, as I said, kind of holding these next videos that will be very interesting, by the way. I'm holding these next videos hostage until I am, until YouTube basically says I can earn money, or until somebody gives me 10 million. because my ideas are groundbreaking. Anyways, have fun thinking about that. Have fun thinking about the way. Try to think about my words. Try to understand them. Don't disembody them. Don't create your own ideas. As I said, you need to challenge the patterns that are being stimulated into your brain. That way you can form a proper opinion and not just believe something based off of some random person on the internet. That's a very bad idea. Anyways,